Play something. 5 more minutes.
Ganesha chant.
The one I've been doing? Yeah. We'll give this a try. This is Ganesha Gayatrī. Ganesha is a roly-poly, elephant-headed boy. He's the lord of auspicious occasions, new beginnings, expectations. Every moment is that auspicious occasion. He's also the remover of obstacles in yoga. Get a little life into this. I ask everyone to find a nice comfortable seat to begin. Now I'm going to sit on my knees. You're welcome to sit any way that's comfortable for you, and it doesn't even have to be like on your bottom or anything else. You can be lying down on your side or whatever. Some people find that a little block may be helpful to sit on their knees. So you can have that, see if I can show you a little bit better. You can have that between your ankles so that your sits bones can find a nice solid surface to sit on. And you can find 2 blocks or books or whatever you need to rise to the level of comfort in your knees, of comfort in your pelvis. And this is a really nice place, I'll turn to the side in just a moment, to find like the bottom of the rocking chair aspect of the bottom of your pelvis. Rocking the pelvis back and forth while keeping the shoulders over the hip joints, right? The hip joints aren't moving, they're just a little, it's like you have a rod going through your pelvis right here and you're rotating on that. That's the hip joints. The shoulders aren't part of this. Let the back move to support the movement. Let's move to the side a little bit. Maybe you can see a little bit from the side, a little bit better the movement that I'm making. So I'm just allowing an inhale, allowing this space about 2 inches beneath the navel to relax and come forward. You can see my back is arching a little bit. My shoulders haven't moved. And then on the exhale, just a little toning down here and allowing the pelvis to roll back. Don't force it, allow it to roll. So we're not picking it up and moving it. It's just rolling like a rocking chair. Slowly, it doesn't have to be with your breath. You can breathe faster or slower. Our pelvis will be able to move smoothly and easily no matter where we are in a breath cycle. But continue to breathe. And slowly, just imagine that the bottom of your pelvis is a rocking chair. The rockers of the rocking chair, and it's shaped like that. Allow yourself to just easily roll. If you find any discomfort in your knees, your ankles, feel free to move out of this type of a position. I find a seat like this really allows me to feel if I'm moving too far to one side or the other, or if I'm allowing my back to be long and really too relaxed, or if I'm too far forward, or if I'm hunched forward, my head out. However I'm sitting, I can really feel that if I allow the energy of the earth to come up through the block into my pelvis and allow it to rise up the spine, and feel as if there's a little helium balloon tied to the crown of your head. That's all the force you need, is just a little helium balloon, just to remind you that the crown of the head goes towards the sky while we're seated or standing. And then maybe rock just a little bit from side to side. This is a little bit different than sitting cross-legged or other ways of sitting. It really emphasizes the way our pelvis rides as we sit. Just notice if you feel a difference on one side or the other on the pelvis, and bring your awareness to the front side of the feet and the legs, making contact with the ground and the knees. Are we comfortable in the ankles and the toes and the knees? The jaw relaxed. The eyes can be closed or open, but the eyes are relaxed. If we're looking into the distance, then we're using a soft focus where everything's kind of blurred together. And if we can allow everything to come to a soft focus, so imagine that your whole body is one receptor for the surroundings, for all of the signals of the surroundings. And instead of picking out different things, just allow it all to be soft focused, to fade together, like your eyes almost crossing, the images merge. Allow the sounds and the images, the tastes and the smells all to merge into just pure sensation without a story, without telling whether it comes from this or that, or whatever you believe is happening. Just allow that to go into the background, into the soft focused, blending everything into one. Starting to imagine that even our body is blending into the environment. That there's no longer a boundary between what we consider us and everything else. And then come to a little stillness. Find that seat, find your breath. Just allow yourself to be still. See if you can allow the weight to come right down the spine and distribute across the bottom of the pelvis, the sits bones, into the knees and the feet, with without effort. Allow your belly to soften. This is really the key. The belly needs to soften. Posture is just a social construct. Everyone will have a different posture that is right for their body, for the alignment of their bones, their skeletal bodies, and their soft tissue. The connective tissue that holds everything is very moldable. It forms over time from habits. And that takes months and months to reshape the soft tissue, the connective tissue. It has a half-life of about 9 months, so it can take years. Feel the belly soften on the inhale. Notice the sound of hum. Right over the top of the nose. The third eye is right at the crown of the nose, right here. This is as far up as the air passages go into the sinuses, and then the breath, like a waterfall, comes down into the torso, expanding it from the pressure of the air. Feeling the openness all around, but really relax into the belly. On the inhale, maybe you feel the back arch a little bit. That's okay. And then on the exhale, just allow the belly to relax. Allow the belly to relax. Allow the back to become a little bit longer as the belly relaxes. It draws in, the belly does. It's toning, really, but it feels like it could be relaxing. The pelvic floor feels like it might be relaxing. It's really not. The pelvic floor relaxes on an inhale. So you can feel the pelvic floor. Allow everything at the bottom of your pelvis to relax. Hum on the inhale. And on the exhale, sa. And the sound is happening here, over the edge of the nose, right between the ears where we can hear the louds. It's from the breath. It's not something we're doing. It just happens with the breath. Feel into your body. Hum sa. This is the foundational practice of yoga going back millennia. Hum sa. Listening to the breath and the sound of the breath. The ancient texts are consistent. Hum on the inhale, sa on the exhale. If you've ever snored, that sound of a snore in the inhale, that is a hum sound. And the sa, the Three Stooges snore. It's the hum sa. It's the hum sa. With our awareness on this space, 2 inches halfway between the front and the back, halfway between the sides, right in the center of the pelvic bowl. If the bowl were lying down on the floor, the spot right in the middle of that. That is the spot we want to bring our full awareness to. And we're going to do just a couple minutes of Kapalabhati breath. This is one of the best ways to gain control of this lower belly musculature and connective tissue. It brings it into a sharp mental focus for us. So remember, what we do is the breath is on the exhale. Usually we engage muscles. The diaphragm engages on an inhale. It actually pulls the lower ribs together, even though it doesn't feel like it. It's a slip slide of the ribs past each other that makes it expand, even though the diaphragm's engaging. Now we want to leave the diaphragm completely relaxed, the whole center part of the body relaxed, and we just want to draw this kunda in sharp, this point in the middle, to force an exhale. Still holding it in, you don't need to do that. And then just relax and allow everything to fill. So the inhale just happens on its own. We don't force the inhale. And we slow down. This is somatic. We can do this as slowly as we want. We don't have to make any noise. It's just on the exhale, use the lower muscles to pull it towards the back. And let the breath come out. We're making the body smaller. The breath has to go somewhere when we relax. Allow the belly to get big again. The breath just comes in. Hold your nostrils open. See if you can flare your nostrils so that your whole breathing tract is open for this. Let's begin. Doesn't have to be as fast as I'm going, but it shouldn't be any faster than I'm going. Allow your back to be long the whole time. So you can feel the breath expand as you let your back lengthen. Don't hold your tail up. Let the whole pelvis be long. Let the whole torso be long, I'm sorry. So it's kind of like you're one of those like bulbs that you can squeeze and press air out of. The bulb's down here, you're squeezing, and then you let go of the bulb, it fills back up. Butt is relaxed, back is long. If your knees bother you, get off your knees. And then take a nice deep inhale. Allow the whole body to expand, long and slow. Hold for just a moment. Try to relax on that inhale like you're floating on the balloon. And then inhale a little bit more. You can feel a little bit more expansive. Not working, no effort in the inhale. Just allow yourself to become larger. And then exhale and let it go. You may feel sensations of activity in your body, like a little, I don't know, almost an efflorescence feeling. I often get that from a Kapalabhati breath, an effervescent feeling, sometimes even to the surface of the skin. This is kind of what we're looking for. This is what we would call prana in yoga-ese, these kind of sensations throughout the body that are connected across and through the body. This is really what we call prana. Why don't we come to our backs, come lying on our backs this evening. And just find a comfortable place. I'll be there in a minute on my back. Just want to see how we're doing out there. Just whatever is comfortable for you. It usually takes several minutes for us to feel the change from being upright in the gravitational field. And we were working in the gravitational field with that breath. And then bring it down into a relaxation. Try to allow the energy of that breathing practice to dissipate throughout your body. From the center. Just imagine it's like pebbles dropping in your navel right now. And pebbles dropping in still water, it ripples out. Just imagine it. Every heartbeat, feel your heartbeat as that pebble dropping in that pelvis and rippling out the sensations. Beginning to become aware of how we're making contact with the earth. How are the feet situated? How are they lying? Compare the distance between the bottom of the pelvis and the heels of the right leg and the bottom of the pelvis and the heels of the left leg. Just noticing if they feel like they're the same size. Very often people will feel like one side's a little longer than the other. I certainly have that feeling. I'm convinced one is. It might not be. It's the way we hold ourselves. It's the way we've habituated this body. And this body is very plastic. It's both elastic and plastic, just like consciousness. We can expand it out and let it contract back. And that's a good thing to do with our body, just like our consciousness, to feel it expand. Allow the breath to expand. You feel that expansion of every breath. Feel it emanate from the center. Every ripple is an expansion. And then allow the ripples to go in reverse back in towards the center. We can feel how that changes the sensations on our back, between our shoulder blades, the back of the pelvis, the small of the back, with respect to the floor. How does it feel to be me in this moment lying on the floor? These are the questions that we want to not ask to be answered, but ask to be sensed in a precognitive way, pure sensations coming into the body without the story that goes along with them. The story can really keep us back if we feel like we've injured ourselves somewhere. I've injured myself a lot, and the biggest problem I have is getting over the fact that that injury was some time ago, and yet my body's still carrying that injury around. It's still guarding, it's still protecting the injury. It's giving ourselves that permission to let that stuff go. It's no longer with us. And if we start telling the story, well, my shoulder hurts because, I hurt my foot, and that hurt my leg, that hurt my belly. You just start telling these stories and it's no good. We are one unit. This body is just one unit, right? And it all works together. We can't have one part working very well and another part not working so well. We want it to all work smoothly and seamlessly. Begin to feel the back of your head on the floor and allow your head to gently roll from side to side. I forgot to lock the dudes up. Slowly and not a lot. Remember, this is somatics. Just slowly. We're more concerned with organizing. What does it take to organize the head to roll, rather than actually rolling the head? What muscles have to activate? What has to relax? Without naming them, just feeling what has to happen for rolling. Eyes can be closed, eyes can be open. And there's no destination, it's just the movement. It's just the pure pleasure of the movement and the curiosity of, if I change the movement a little bit, how does that feel? If I change it a little more, how does that feel? Variations. In this type of a practice, we want to vary the movement each time we do it. So we're not doing repetitive movement. We're not doing the same thing over and over again. Our modern life is full of repetitive movement. We're people that suffer from repetitive movement injuries constantly. Sometimes the most fit people are the people that suffer the most from that. So we want to make every movement not repetitive, yet kind of the same thing. We want to allow this deeper brain of ours, this deep brain, I call it the lizard brain, that knows how to move the body. We want to have those connections reform. Right? We want to potentiate those connections is what we want to do. We want to allow the potential, right? An electrical potential. We want that potential between the brain and the body to be strong, so that when the brain wants something to happen, the body responds in a way that's in a line with our skeletal and our soft tissue. And now, allow your eyes to open if they've been closed, and follow the slow movement of your head. Maybe your head's getting a little bit more movement than we started with. That's fine, but just do it slow and with the full of awareness on what's happening. And allow the eyes to follow the movement. Just track. Okay? And the best way to track is if I'm moving my head and eyes to the left, as I look to the left out of the right side of my right eye. And that allows both eyes to move to the left. So whichever way your eyes are moving, you want the opposite eye to be looking, doing the control. And it really helps, because now we're going to do something a little bit different. So when we're turning our head to the left, allow the eyes to slowly turn to the right. So the left eye is going to be looking to the right while the chin turns to the left. And then allow the eyes and the chin to come back together in the center, and then go the opposite way. Eyes going that way, chin going the opposite way, and back and forth. Okay, so now what we're doing, with the understanding that our brain uses about 35% of the calories that we burn in a day, this is really activating the brain. Doing exercises like this actually burns more calories than running. Because running, our body's designed for that. Our body's designed for thinking too, but we don't usually think. We don't usually pay attention to this. This is a skill that's absolutely necessary for foragers. Foraging people like humans were for hundreds of thousands of years, to be able to turn their head one way and look the other way easily so that they don't have to use extra energy in their body to move. Everything has to be smooth and fluid if you want to survive when every calorie is critical for survival. It's not like today. It wasn't like today. It's not how this body came to be. All right, so go ahead and still the head now. Let's just still the head. Relax the jaw, relax the eyes. I'm going to lie on my back here with you. Legs are long. Feet are about hip width apart. And let's just do a couple of these. Let's just begin to feel how our feet, our heels, our legs, our ankles interact with the ground. So slowly begin to draw the left heel up towards the buttock so that the left knee goes out towards the left side. So we're not lifting the foot much, we're just making it a little bit lighter so that it glides across whatever surface we're on. Let's do that several times. I have my hands right here kind of on the ridges of my pelvis and my elbows relaxed on the floor. That helps my shoulders get in the right place, relaxing the jaw. Let's go to the left side again. Just draw the outer edge of the left foot, the heel up towards the glutes on the left side, left knee out the side. As slow as we can. Slow as we can. Starting to notice if there's any place where we feel a little stuttering, maybe a little choppy in the movement. Maybe we could feel movement and our leg will jump to the next movement. Just do this several more times. Try to relax everything that's not required for this movement. Allow it to come to complete relaxation. Notice as I move my left leg up, you might feel that the right side of the pelvis starts to roll towards the left. Your whole body rolls towards the left just a little bit as you draw the leg up to the outside. And as you press the left leg long, press the heel away so that you actually lengthen through the left side of the body, shorten on the right side of the body. Press the left heel away and then slowly begin to draw. Slow as you possibly can. Just make sure you're breathing. We're not going to care about timing the breath with the movement yet. And slowly press it away. Just noticing the sensations in the inner pelvis. Noticing the sensations on the back of the pelvis. Maybe start to notice as we're rolling a kind of a cross body, left shoulder to right hip kind of feeling. Maybe even a left hip to right shoulder sensation. And next time you find that your left knee is out to the side and the heel of your foot is comfortably closed, just go ahead and roll over the outer edge of the foot to bring the knee to the ceiling, towards the ceiling. The sole of the left foot is still on the floor, shoulders are relaxed, space between the shoulder blades is relaxed, the lower back is relaxed on the floor. And now let's just begin to gently press into the left foot just a little bit and allow the left knee to pull the upper left leg with it away from the body and feel your pelvis roll to the right. We've done a lot of this last few weeks or so. Just do that several times. I like to do this on an exhale and draw my belly in just a little bit as I'm rolling. And then on the inhale, allow the whole left side of my body and the right side of my body to become longer and full as the back comes down. So you're breathing the back onto the floor, expanding the back into the floor without effort. Exhaling. I like to exhale as we do this. Of course, we need to be able to do it on an inhale, but the exhale helps us feel the engagement in the pelvis that helps to roll the pelvis and feel how the right side of the body is making contact with the ground. Just noticing what parts of the right side of the body are in contact with the ground and which parts aren't. Now slowly begin to allow the left knee to come back out to the side, rolling over the foot. So you come to the outer edge of the foot. And then gently press the foot away. I don't know if people that have been coming to these classes for quite a while, I don't know if you've noticed that whenever I move my legs to standing or off to the side, I do it like this. It's always like this. You know, it's pretty quick because, you know, I'm used to doing it. I'm not doing it for sensation. I'm doing it to keep myself from hurting my lower back by drawing my knees up directly from the ground, allowing the lower back to arch up while you're doing all that. So when you do it like this, it allows the lower back to relax, the pelvis is relaxed, everything's relaxed, and then you use the right muscles to bring yourself up. Go ahead and extend that left leg out. And let's come to the right side. Let's just come to the awareness of the right side. Just press the heel of the right foot straight down just a little bit. See if you can feel that. See if you can feel what happens if you press the right heel into the ground. Just straight down, just a little bit. My toes came up towards the sky, whatever it does. Just a little bit of pressure. We're not working. See if you can feel what happens. What muscles engage. And now go ahead and relax the right foot, the right ankle, the right leg. And see if you can just squeeze the glutes. See if you can squeeze your right butt cheek. Right? So when I squeeze my right butt cheek, you might notice that the whole pelvis comes up and over. And just squeeze the right butt cheek to allow this little bit of a roll to the right side. Notice how, or to the left side, I'm sorry. Notice how the left side of the body is rolling towards the left. Is it becoming softer and sinking into the ground as we're rolling over and then slowly rolling back. Do that a couple more times, squeezing the glute. Really give yourself a little bit of energy here. These are the strongest muscles we have in our body, and they get very underused in the modern world. So go ahead and release again. Squeeze it as tight and release very slowly. So squeeze tight into the right glute. And slowly release. Notice the right foot as you squeeze into the right glute. What happens with the right foot? Feels like it gets heavier in the heel. Right? It's because what the glutes do is they pull the back of the femur towards the back of the pelvis, or they pull the back of the pelvis towards the back of the upper legs. And they're engaged through the heel. This is our major walking muscle. So just feel that. And I did it on this side different than the other side. I have my hands back on the pelvis here so I can feel this movement. Begin to gently draw the right knee up, just like we did on the left side. So the right knee's pointing out to the side. I'm relaxed everywhere I can. Feeling the body roll a little bit. Press it back out slowly. You can feel what needs to relax, what's engaging, how your body's rolling from one side to another. You might be lifting the foot just a little bit to make it a little bit lighter so it doesn't get stuck. Look for places where you get stuck, where you lose the strength. It's probably not the strength of the muscle, it's that connection between the brain and the muscle. It's a kinesthetic amnesia. Parts of the trajectory of the muscle are lost to the mind. We haven't used it in so long, we haven't used it in a way that the brain can figure out why the hell you're doing that. Just several times, slowly. Relaxing. Each time a little bit different. So my foot's I can make my foot point that way. Next time, really pull the heel away from your body towards the wall where your feet are and allow the whole right side of the body to lengthen. Feel yourself rolling onto the left just a little bit. Shrink back up, right knee coming out to the side. Just do this several times. This is what I call hip openers. Right? It allows your hip through movement. Motion is the lotion. Stillness is a wonderful thing, but But stillness does not lubricate your joints. Stillness does not train your or habituate patterns of movement in your body that are in line with the skeletal alignment of your body. You can't reason this stuff out. It happens in a level of the brain that we don't have that kind of control over. Can't access it that way. Then go ahead and allow the right knee to start to roll over the outer edge of the right foot. All the way back up towards the sky with the knee. And then slowly. So my lower leg and my foot are staying at that 90 degrees. I'm rotating on the outer edge of the foot, allowing the knee to come softly to the ground. Or wherever it goes. I'm not coming all the way to the ground. I'm not that open. And then press the heel long. This is something I like to do before I get out of bed every day. I'll do a couple of these really slowly. Just to get a little bit of movement. Press into the right heel. Roll the pelvis. You can feel the pelvis rocking in its normal kind of way. Out long, back to the side. And come to the other leg. Slowly. Slowly, slowly. First thing in the morning, even more slowly. Press into the foot a little when it comes to the ground. Allow the right side of your body to become heavy. Now, we're not worried about the lifting side. We want to bring our awareness to how we roll the body. And then go ahead and come to a resting position on your belly once again. Now let's do the other half of this. We're working on the glutes tonight. Starting this 9-week, it turns out that it's only 9 weeks, 3 class a day, or 3 class a week series beginning next Sunday for $75 for the whole thing. So that's 27 classes. But we're going to probably spend the first 3 weeks with a focus on the glutes. You know, I don't focus on anything. So this week we're just getting a little jump on the glutes. That is kind of a functional part of the body that most people have issues with, is the glutes. It's just from sitting. It's from the patterns of life that we live. We do not properly use the strongest muscles in the body, the ones that we need to use for walking. We typically use the hip flexors rather than the glutes for walking, which is not what they're for. Okay, so we can come to our belly any way that is comfortable for us. Okay, we can come into like a sphinx kind of pose, and this isn't bad if we want to do a little bit of kind of yin-y back bend, the elbows under the shoulders, palms out. Palms can be out this way. We can bring the elbows out a little bit more, bring the belly down a little bit closer, so I'm just lying on my lower ribs. It doesn't really matter. This isn't part of it. Or we can bring the head all the way down. We can stack the fist up and the forehead on the fist. We can lay one side onto the ground, stacked hands, or the other side, whatever feels right for us right now. These are all variations for the movement that we're going to do. So I'm going to be up here in this sphinx kind of pose as we begin this. And I'm going to begin on my right side. Okay. Now, what I want us to do now is squeeze both glutes, the butt muscles. Just give them a little squeeze and notice what happens. And release. This is really an important part of this exercise. Squeeze again, squeeze the glutes. What we want to feel is we want to feel the pubic bone, the bone right down here. Right? We want to feel that coming down and pressing in to the ground, and we want to feel the back moving towards the shirt. We want to feel our back moving towards the sky. If we're bringing the back towards the ground while we're doing this, we're using the wrong muscles. We're using the lower back muscles and not the glutes. If we engage the glutes, this part of the pelvis, the upper part of the pelvis, gets pulled all the way down to the back of the legs. That's the force. That's what happens from the glutes, and that's going to draw the pelvis into the ground, the front of the pelvis. The pubic bone goes into the ground, and the lower back lifts away from the belly. We don't want to engage. So feel that first. That's the first thing you want to feel. Wherever you are, squeezing the glutes, feeling the lower back kind of round towards the sky is what it is. So your belly's lifting a little bit, just a little bit. And then relax it down a little bit. Just feel that several times, just from the glutes. This is a very important thing. This in yoga classes when they do back bends. Many yoga teachers will tell you exactly the wrong thing to do. Somehow the yoga lore has gotten really ass backwards on this. You want to squeeze your glutes, press your pubic bone into the floor, and then you can really lift. You've supported your lower back, but that's not what we're doing here. We're going to gently begin to draw. I'll draw the right leg up since I'm on this side. Relax in your shoulders. And just what do you need to do to bring your right knee up and out to the side like we did on our backs? Notice once again that the right side of the pelvis is rotating up. I'm rotating a little bit to the left side. I'm allowing my body to roll. Don't keep yourself from rolling. And then press that foot back away. And try to roll, allow yourself to roll back onto your pelvis and forward. So several times, slowly, what does it take? And once again, I'm not lifting the leg much, just trying to make it a little bit lighter, and I'm not trying to bring it further than it wants to go. We stop when the movement becomes rough. We always want to train ourselves to feel smooth movement in our body. We never want to associate effort with activity in the body. We want the body to move effortlessly. That's how it's designed. You've never seen any other type of critter on the planet that has to put effort into their movement. Only humans do that. It's because we're thinking about it. We don't want to think about it. We want to allow it to happen. Just allow. This is natural behavior. This is a behavior that you did. You were doing this stuff when you were 9 months old, when you were starting to learn how to crawl. You'd do this over and over, hundreds of different variations in a day. We're doing the same thing now. We're doing just what you did as an infant. If you start to feel uncomfortable anywhere, relax, roll back onto your back, onto your side, or whatever. Next time your legs are long, go ahead and stack your hands or your fists. Sometimes you can stack your fists like this and put your forehead on them. And tuck your toes underneath your heels. And act like you're walking your legs up towards your pelvis. So I'm picking up my right leg, the knee's still on the ground, and I'm putting my toes back down, and I'm pressing the heel away, and that brings me over to the other side, to the left side. Just allow your body, relax into the shoulders, into the jaw, into the back. Just allow your pelvis to move gently from side to side. So we want to feel the earth come up into the lower belly, from the pelvis all the way to the lower ribs, from side to side. Allow your body to soften into the earth. Go as slow as you need to go to be soft all the time. All right, let's go ahead and stop that movement. Bring the tops of the feet back onto the earth. You can come back into whatever shape is comfortable for you. And if you're doing these exercises at home, variations are, you can start looking the way that you bring the leg up, right? And then notice how different that is if you're bringing the opposite leg up. It's a whole different set of experiences for your body to learn from. We're just doing a rough thing today. But if you're practicing this stuff at home, think about variations. So the left, let's come to the left side now. Let's bring your awareness on the left side. Let's squeeze the glutes again. Make sure that we have the sensation of the contact of the pubic bone supporting the weight of our body. That's the only bone over there that we're leaning on, right? The pubic bone and the tips of the pelvis right here. It's like a tripod that the weight of our body's on. The weight of the torso is on those when we're in this position. So we really want to feel that pubic bone from squeezing squeezing the glutes. We don't want to keep the glutes squeezed, but it's, once again, it can be a little toning when we come into more of a back bend. The glutes pull the pelvis down, lengthen the lower back. Okay? And that keeps the lower back from getting crunched in a back bend. It's the glutes that do the work. Okay, so let's go with the opposite side. So we'll bring the left knee up. Just begin to slowly do that. How do you organize your body? So I have to think about allowing the weight to come over to the right side. Bring some of the weight off of the left leg so I can draw it up. And then gently relax on the floor as you're pressing away. Try to relax everything that you can. It's not about doing work. It's about not doing work. It's about making the movement effortless. How can we maintain that soft contact on the earth? What's going on in your shoulders? I'm feeling I'm constricted in my right shoulder, so I'm going to move my right arm out a little bit, see if that helps. This is about the sensations in your body. And only you can be the judge of whether they're being effective or not. And usually with this kind of stuff, you can't tell right away. This kind of stuff is slow. You'll do these things, and then one day you'll do it. It's like, wow, that was a totally different experience than I've ever felt before from doing that. Body changes slowly. It didn't get in the condition that it's in overnight, and it doesn't get back out of it. It's a slow training. So let's all roll back onto our backs. Just a moment. We're going to come into a yin-y kind of thing here. Spend a little stillness time, but first, let's bring our knees to standing, our legs to standing, so the soles of the feet are on the floor, knees are towards the sky. Now let's bring the left leg over the right. Okay, the left knee is pretty much close to the right knee, and whatever's comfortable for you here. If this isn't happening for you, if this is happening, that's fine. If this isn't happening, then this is happening. You can do everything the same. The movement is the movement, and variations are welcome. Okay, that's why I don't like to use the word modification. Modification makes it sound like there's a right way for everyone to move, and if you can't do it, too bad. This is a modification for the dummy kid, right? It's not what it is. Our body seeks the variation. So what we're going to do now is the left leg is over the right. Just going to allow my arms to comfortably lie at the side, and I'm slowly going to allow the movement to come from the right hip, and I'm going to allow the legs to gently and slowly, ever so slowly, to move to the right. Once again, it's the organization. The pelvis has to move as soon as we start to allow the right leg over. Very often when we do this, I won't have you have the crossed legs, and then the hip joint can start to move, and then the pelvis can kick in. But here the pelvis moves immediately. But bring your awareness not so much to the pelvis rolling over to the right, but how does the lower back, how do the ribs roll to the right? How can I keep those lower ribs and lower right back on the floor as I allow my weight to roll back onto my back? And bringing this movement, when you start to really feel this, you'll feel this movement all happens at the center of the pelvis. The rotation of the pelvis. And it's hardly any work at all. The slower we move, the greater the benefits from this work, and the greater the improvement. And what do I mean by improvement? The easier movement will become for you. All right, so bring them back to steadiness with both knees towards the ceiling. We haven't unwound the knees. And now let's allow the legs to come the opposite way, to the left. You might feel like rolling your head to the right. Allow that to happen. You may need to help with the counterbalance. Feel that very complex twist in your body. Allow the upper legs to become long into the twist. Allow the weight to come into the inner edge of the right foot to bring the knees back to standing. Back is relaxed and easy. We're rolling over the back. It might not feel that way to you. You might feel like your back, parts of your back aren't on the floor, and that's fine. Over time, breathe. Allow every inhale to make your body a little bit larger, expanding. Every exhale, a little bit smaller. So here again, I'm exhaling as I'm moving. I'm controlling my pelvis, the center point of the pelvis. Exhale helps me to remember to do that, and allowing all this movement to come from that center. Both holding the movement back, pandiculating as we move to the left, and then in the reverse, actually doing the work to lift the legs. But if we allow the pelvis to roll, then it becomes easy. Rolling any object is easy. And the human body, the shape of the human body is it can roll in a lot of different ways on the ground, just from the shape. It's just part of our heritage. All right, so now we're going to ask you to do the next time you find your legs over towards the left side, start to allow your body to assimilate this shape. If this is uncomfortable for you to have your legs floating in the air, and it probably should be for most folks, find something, a bolster, blankets or whatever, to support your body in this shape. Bring your right arm out to the side so your legs are to the left, crossed. Your right arm is out to the side. You can allow your head to gently roll over to the right to gaze over the left fingers. You can also allow your left arm to be a little bit above your head. So my elbow's out to the side. This is kind of a goal post arm, right? I'm not really all the way up over my head. My body doesn't feel like going there today. I just want to allow, find a place that is different. Find a place that's not a normal shape for me to find my body in. And try to find peace and stillness and relaxation in this shape. If you've gone too deep, if you've challenged the twist too much at the beginning, move out of it some. We don't want to feel this shape except for the breath. My body's in a twist. Breathing into a position like this is very different than breathing into just lying on your back. Notice that. How does this shape of the body change the flow of the breath in your body? And experiment by breathing into the right side, just bringing your awareness to the right. We don't have to do any effort. Just bring your awareness to the right side of your body, and your right side of your body expands on the inhale. And then exhale from the left side. Inhale and exhale from the left side of the body for a few times. Then inhale and exhale from the right side of the body a few times. Feeling length. Breathing for length. So when I'm breathing into the right side of my body, I'm breathing to bring my shoulders away from my pelvis. Just from the air pressure, not from musculature. I'm breathing to allow my left lower back to be round and lying comfortable on the floor. So it's like I'm blowing glass. You know, a glass blower blows out, and they think about the shape they want to make. They form their breath into the shape that they want to make externally. In a practice like this, we shape on the inhale. We inhale our breath into the way we want our body to feel. To become longer, to become more spacious. To become easier. To be able to reside in the stillness of our body. If it becomes uncomfortable, back off. Just continue to back off. We're going to be here for another moment or two, maybe another 10 breaths or so, 10 of my breaths. At let's see, what's that, about 5 minutes. No, we won't be here that long. Keep your awareness on your breath. Just notice the difference between awareness on the right side, awareness on the left side, awareness in the center. Breath pattern flows with your awareness. So these kind of shapes are really nice for the connective tissue. The movement's good for the connective tissue too, but connective tissue forms these really deep weaves of fibers. Right? And they start to, especially where there's been injury, they start to knot up and really turn into not such a lovely cross pattern. So if you can bring a little bit of tension to that occasionally, and compression, you want to do both over time, it will start to remold that tissue. It will start to remold and open up into the type of movement that you're presenting to it in that course of time, in that 6 months, a year, whatever that you're working on there. Okay, so let's slowly begin to unwind from this shape. If you still have it in you, you can bring the weight into the inner edge of the right foot, pressing the right foot down, and just rolling right over. Unwind the legs, and let's go ahead and bring the left knee into the left hand, the right knee into the right hand. And we're not drawing them towards the chest. We're not trying to physically make our back stretch. You just want to bring a little weight from the shoulders and the arms into the knees. Let the knees resist. And breathe into your pelvis. Breathe into your back. Breathe to make your back long and arched. So that you're pressing your pelvis, the bottom of the pelvis, towards the heels of your feet. And the crown of the head to the wall above your head. You're not pulling the knees down, we're just allowing just a little bit of weight. And then on your next inhale, slowly press the knees into the palms of the hands. Let the knees win, but provide just a little bit of resistance. Just a little bit. Move as slowly as you can with your knees, breathing through this. And then allow the knees to come back to where they feel easy, closer to your chest with the weight of the hands. Once again, press the knees and the weight of the hands away with the knees, relaxing everywhere you can. So this is a pandiculation into the glutes. Actually, it's into the lower back. So imagine what's happening here. The weight's on the knees, the weight's from our hands. So the glute is long. The glute is long like this. The space between the back of the femur and the top of the pelvis is long. Right? So we're going to start to engage the glutes a little bit. So now the glutes are becoming shorter, and yet I've got weight on the knees. So the glutes are becoming shorter under load, which isn't really what I want. What I want for a pandiculation is I want to now continue to press my hands gently into the knees. So like I want to press my knees towards the ceiling, but now the hands win. So now the glutes are engaged. They're engaged to balance the weight of the arms, and they're getting longer under load. When we allow muscles to slowly get longer under just a little bit of weight, gotta try this again, allow the knees to come back up. Press the knees gently into the hands. Notice what happens, it's the glutes that allow that to happen. Engage the glutes here and feel that's the sensation of the glutes right there. right in the butt cheeks. Feel that, and then back off until it's just like 1 pound of pressure from your hands, so that the glutes are engaged just a little bit, and allow them to lengthen as the knees come closer. So when we take a muscle and we engage it and allow it to become longer under the engagement, it kind of wears it out. It also makes it build a lot of mitochondria. There's nothing better for building endurance of muscles than doing this type of movement. It allows the muscles to lengthen. They have to lengthen. They're engaged and they have to get longer. So they have to relax where they can. The surrounding tissue has to relax to provide that length. And that's what we're looking for. All right, bring the feet back to the ground. That's okay, so now we're going to cross the right knee over the left. That's what we're doing. Just find that comfortable place. Find a place. I like to wiggle my hips on the floor a lot. Not to lift them, but to keep my pelvis in the plane of the floor, my ribs in the plane of the floor, and just make the left side shorter and then the left side longer. And that's this little cantering. That's the beauty of the floor. We're out of gravity's field, and we have a reference point for what straight is. We have the floor. So we know when I'm moving my pelvis like that I'm not lifting one pelvis cheek out that way or the other one out the other way. I'm not doing something odd. I can feel the natural movement of the body in the natural alignment on the earth. All right, so from here what we're going to do now is we're slowly going to allow the knees to be able to drift to the left a little bit, just a little bit. How do we organize? How do we control that? This is also pandiculation. See if you can feel what muscle is under load and getting longer as this happens. Slowly, slowly. Once again, I like to exhale as the knees are moving. You want to be able to inhale when they're moving, but in order to set your body's natural movement, the exhale helps with engaging the pelvis muscles that control this kind of movement. And then once your body gets used to that, then you can inhale and do it too. It doesn't matter once your body gets used to it. But to get used to help to engage the deep pelvic muscles. And those aren't strength muscles. Those are stabilizing muscles. They don't move you anywhere. They just stabilize your body so that the forces of movement can be transmitted through your skeletal tissue and your soft tissue in the most efficient and least destructive way possible. It's the natural intelligence of the body. Just slowly. I go a little bit faster. I've been doing this for a long time, but there's times when I slow way down. I just want to make sure if you look up that you see what type of movement that I'm doing. And then bring your legs to stillness once again. Keep them crossed because we're going to move the opposite direction. So allow the knees to begin to roll to the right. So we roll onto the inner edge of the left foot. And you might feel compelled to allow your head to roll to the left. You might even feel that your eyes want to go to the left too. It's kind of a counterbalance here. Feel where your body's becoming longer, where it's becoming shorter, where we're lying on the ground, where the body's lifting off the ground, where we feel totally relaxed, where we feel like there's parts of the body that want to help out. They honestly, truly want to help out, but typically if muscles are engaging that aren't actively involved with the movement, they're not helping out, they're making it more difficult. All muscles can do is draw one bone towards another bone. That's all they do. That's all they know how to do. typically with movement, we don't really want the muscles drawn too close because that will create, a lot of friction in that joint. So maybe sometime you're going to feel that you want to stop with your knees over towards the right side. Once again, you may want to find some kind of bolster. Tara makes these. She calls them booby bars because she uses them like in her ribs in different places to support her body. They've been scientifically designed for just such a thing. So once again, we don't want to be too far. I'm feeling a little pressure on my left side here, so I'm going to bring my bolster in a little bit closer. In fact, I'm going to go for a bigger bolster. We don't want to feel any kind of discomfort in our body. We do not want to associate movement of our body with discomfort. We want to associate the movement of our body with easy breezy. And we can do whatever we want. That this body that we have, this body that we're occupying, is indeed the perfect vehicle for our consciousness. And the true yoga secret is accepting ourselves where we are, is accepting our perfection. This body is for us to sense what can be sensed by the human body, to bring us that experience of vitality, an experience of life and joy and sorrow, to feel the full spectrum of what it means to be. Allow yourself to melt into the floor. I typically, I'm doing yin kind of poses, and sometimes I'll have you do movement in a yin pose, like yin pose, fingers or hands or feet or something. I'm not doing that tonight. But in this particular shape, I feel this kind of connection between the top of my pelvis and my lower ribs, especially in towards the spine. And it feels a little odd for me. It doesn't really feel discomfortable, but it's a sensation. So I'm providing, with my left hand, I'm providing extra support for that sensation to my mind without creating a story about it. Just allowing my brain to pick up where my hand is, what, I'm just kind of rubbing it around, maybe in directions that go with the sensation and directions that go against the sensation. Once again, providing a variation of experience to the lizard brain, to my lizard brain, so it can begin to discern which of those variations is more efficient for which causes, for which purposes. And this all happens below language. This is not a language that we understand. We can learn to tap into the sensations of this discussion back and forth between the brain and the body. But we can't really decipher it exactly. It's just way too complex for the linear cortex to figure out. So let's take a few more breaths here. Lengthening breaths, filling breaths, easy breaths. Sense all the sensations, but in a soft focus. Begin to bring your knees back up. And that includes my voice. If you don't hear what I'm saying, if you hear 1/10 of what I'm saying, that's all fine. This time is about being with ourselves, providing that time of connection, a time of full awareness within. But you may begin to notice that with it, when we bring the awareness within, we bring a sharp notion of where does the within end. And you might start to notice that you actually become more aware of that which is what we would consider around us. We become more expansive in the states from within, especially from the physical center of the body. On the way out, what time is it? Oh. So why don't we roll on over in any way that is comfortable for us. I'm going to bring you into another yin pose to close this one out. So slowly roll out. My knees bent, my left arm out to the side. I'm just going to bring my gaze to the left fingers with my right fingers. I'm going to bring the right leg long and gently with my head low, center of mass on the floor, bring myself into a seated position. And I'm going to invite you to come into a wide seated position. This will be a nice yin pose. So we've been working on the glutes and trying to sense, differentiate activation in the glutes down here and the lower back up here. Okay. We run into back problems when we try to substitute what the glutes are supposed to be doing with the lower back. And we can do it. We can force that to happen. And a lot of people do. So we really want to learn to feel the difference. So I'm going to invite you into a wide-seated forward fold in a yin, yin-y kind of way. So I like to do this. I like to just bring a bolster out in front of me. I like to prop this bolster up however I can. And then I usually bring a foam block, but you can use whatever you have, more pillows. And I like to find a place, and I bring this on my forehead. And I'm looking to completely relax my pelvis down and allow my back to completely let go. My belly's soft, my belly's completely relaxed, and my back I'm trying to let go. There's tension in my back. And I'm trying to use my breath to expand the lower back and allow it to relax on the way back down. Bring your hands wherever is comfortable for you. Some people like to bring them up around the block like this. This is a really nice place to be. Other folks like to try to feel how their shoulder blades lie on the back when their palms are behind them, up, and allow the shoulders to sink towards the ground. The shoulder blades will be on your back and gravity can pull those towards the ground. But any of these options is a very nice option tonight. Allow your body just to melt. We're not trying to force a forward fold. We're not pulling our head to our toes or anything. We're staying well within the bounds of ease and comfort. We're going to expend just a little bit of energy to be upright. And I really like to feel the pressure right at that third eye on whatever I'm leaning on. I find there's a lot of comforting sensation. You may find something very different. Honor your sensations, not what I'm telling you. Breathe soft and easy. Hamsa. Try to allow the space between the breaths to begin to develop. It's in that stillness, it's in the stillness when we're not breathing, that the magic of yoga can begin. And it's not holding your breath, it's just stopping your breath momentarily. And you'll begin to notice that your breath naturally does that. If you're just kind of hanging out, doing stuff during the day, you're not breathing constantly most of the time. You're taking pauses between breathing. Your body is. It doesn't have to breathe constantly. Maybe you can begin to observe how you breathe just during the day. Begin to notice how you feel when you're not breathing, when things are going along so well that you're at ease and relaxed, and your body doesn't need to breathe all the time. Well, I'm not going to want to move from that position. I've got to do something. That's a nice one. So I'm going to invite you to stay there. I think Tara and I will just finish up with a little something here. We don't ever talk about this stuff, we just do it. Oh. Got my old harmonium out. It's twice as big as my new one. I think that will have space. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings exist in peace and freedom. And with my thoughts, and my words, and my actions, will I acknowledge and honor their peace and freedom. Namaskar. You're welcome to just hang out in that yin pose as long as you like. So for folks interested, please pass this word around. I'm just doing this to get the word out about somatic yoga. It's $75 for 27 classes. So Sunday nights we'll meet. We will do, I'll probably be about a 40-minute one, a yoga nidra. We'll do a lot of the foundational basic work at a very low level in bed if you want to be in bed. And that's 9 o'clock after our, every Sunday night at 8 o'clock we do a little music thing. And after that we will do this about 40 minutes. There'll be a little bit of movement, but primarily it's going to be a yoga nidra, yoga sleep. Okay, it's a meditation. We do a lot of sound in that. Monday evening will be just like it is, the yin. So then we'll start working a little movements, and then Wednesday morning at 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. we take that somatic movement and we move it into, and we move flows. We move into flows of movement from the floor to standing and back, and we take in a lot of movement in and out of yoga type poses. Yoga poses, as we know them in the modern world, were invented by a guy by the name of Krishnamacharya in India in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s primarily. He wrote books on this stuff that somehow have been lost in the modern world, or at least the understanding. They're not lost, everybody has a copy of one. And the real power of yoga asana, the poses, is not the shapes. For every pose, he'd have like a list of 6 ways in and 6 ways out, and it's the way the movement into the shape and the out of the shape that created the mood of the shape, that created what the shape did. It wasn't the shape itself. So I'm trying to recreate some of that. I'm pretty much an expert on the Krishnamacharya movement stuff, into even a slower, more somatic type movement for modern people. You know, in the 20s and 30s in India, people were moving. They needed a whole different set of movement skills than we need in the modern world. So if you're interested in that, know people that want to do it. It's $75 through Studio 8. If anyone is hard up for money, I mean, this is really a hard up time, tell them to contact me, because I'm not about making money on this. I just want people to feel good. I think the world's a better place if people feel better. All right, folks. See you next week. We got here Andrew. Have a great one. Jordan. Hi, Jordan. Hi, Jordan. How you guys? What we got out there? We got James out there. Got James out there. And Kaylee out there. Hi, guys. All right. So have a wonderful week, guys. Stay safe. I've already had 3 of my university students tell me that they're not going to be in class tomorrow because they're quarantined already. So, yeah, it's here. All right, guys. Have a great night. Hope to see you next week. Bye now.